Welcome to AmaWaterways Nile River Cruise. Hi, I'm Megan, a licensed tour guide and travel content creator, and it's always been my dream to visit Egypt, and I was so excited to get the opportunity to do so with AmaWaterways. I'm creating a video with tips and tricks of things that I wish I knew before I took the cruise to help you get your very best Nile River Cruise experience. But before we get started, make sure that you click subscribe so you never miss a travel minute.
Yeah, muffin talk. Muffin talk. Muffin talks, bringing healing to those who need them most.
When you visit Egypt, you are walking into over 7,000 years of recorded history, a new culture, a new way of life, and a new language. It is truly the trip of a lifetime and will create memories as glistening as the treasures of the pharaohs. It can also be extremely overwhelming, especially if you try to do it all yourself. Figuring out which historical sites to see, when is the best time to visit each site, and how to get to each site, I'm convinced would take years of research and planning. Learning how to navigate local customs, be it tipping, airport security, getting a car service, and even buying souvenirs, is something that you're gonna really want a local, familiar with Egypt, to help you with. And the truth is, knowing Arabic is extremely useful, and if you're like me, you might not speak a word of it. And this is where AmaWaterways really comes into play. They will hold your hand through every step of the experience, so you can focus on immersing yourself in Egyptian culture and living your luxurious Nile River fantasy, and leave with the most whimsical memories of the land of the pharaohs. If you want to know more about AmaWaterways Nile River Cruise shore excursions, I have put together a video focusing purely on those because they are so magnificent, they deserve their own focus. If you want a ship tour, I have also put together a video specifically for that. This video is sharing things that surprised and delighted me throughout our journey and will hopefully inspire you to take your own Nile River cruise. After all, dreams only come true if you book the tour. Oh, and I also wanted to let you know, my fiance and I were celebrating both of our birthdays on this cruise. Our birthdays fall within a month of one another, and AmaWaterways pulled out all the stops with a birthday cake and more. So if you are celebrating a special occasion, I strongly recommend this cruise. Whoever put together this itinerary, it is an all-star job. We've gotten to see so many incredible attractions that I knew I wanted to see, and attractions that I didn't even know existed. And now I'm like, wow, I can't imagine having come to Egypt and not seen that attraction. I'm putting together an entire video specifically about the shore excursion, so if you want to know more, you can watch that video. But we've also had a good amount of time on the ship to just relax, soak in the surroundings, make sure that we're staying healthy, make sure that we're staying rested. When we're on the ship, they give us optional activities. There was a history lecture that went all the way from the Old Kingdom to modern day Egypt. So it really gave us an idea of what modern day Egypt is like as well, which I really appreciated. We also had a cooking demonstration. So there's always something to do. So you're never going to be bored, but if you want to just relax, you can as well. So truly, this itinerary is perfect. And I don't say that lightly because I put together itineraries for people in New York City. So when I give it kudos, it really deserves kudos. Every evening when we get back from our afternoon shore excursions, we find the daily cruiser nicely laid out on our bed with these little Egyptian treats. They've been different Egyptian treats every single day. Now the daily cruiser, it tells you everything that you need to know for the next day. So on this front page, we have where we're going to dock, what time the sunrise and sunset is, what the weather is, so that you can plan ahead. And right here, it is basically a summary of what the day is going to be. But in more detail on the back, we have a full schedule starting at 5:30 a.m. when early risers can get pastries. I am not an early riser, but if you are, you can get pastries starting at 5:30 a.m. And then it goes through everything that we're going to do. So we have an 8 a.m. meet time by reception. Then we're going to go visit Aswan City and Felucca. We have an all
aboard at 1 p.m. We're going to have our lunch. Our afternoon shore excursion is visiting the Temple of Kamambo. Then we have an all aboard, and then we have an evening activity where I believe we're all going to actually be wearing traditional Egyptian clothing, which is going to be super fun. And then 10 to 11 p.m., there is a late night snack served in the lounge. So this is really, really great because it's in your bedroom, and then at night before you're going to bed, as you're getting ready for the next day, everything is right there planned out for you. So the daily cruiser. For the Nile River Cruise, AmaWaterways has partnered with Wings. Wings is a local Egyptian company, and my understanding is that they own the docks that AmaWaterways docks at, and they're also in charge of the ground transportation. For example, the buses that take us out on the shore excursions. And I will tell you that everything I have experienced that has been Wings has been top of the line, very luxurious. Even the buses are luxurious with really nice bathrooms. I've been really pleasantly surprised. Everything on the ship is authentically AmaWaterways. The crew is AmaWaterways. You're going to have all your favorite AmaWaterways traditions if you have taken a lot of AmaWaterways cruises before. In my opinion, it's a really wonderful partnership that brings us the very best Nile River cruise experience that I can imagine. I feel totally spoiled by both companies, and I'm really happy they were able to create this fantastic Nile River experience.
The food on this cruise was truly fantastic. It was a lovely mix of international and Egyptian food with plenty of options for every meal. I'll go more in depth into the dining options in my AmaWaterways ship tour video, but I had to mention it here because we loved every bite so much, and we are still dreaming about the delicious cuisine weeks later.
Something that really surprised me on this trip was all of the amazing fresh fruit. They love fresh fruit. When we got into our staterooms, there was fresh fruit in our staterooms. There's been fresh fruit and vegetables at every meal, and they love fruit juice. This is fresh lemon with mint. I've been obsessed with guava juice and guava juice with milk, which sounds strange, at least to an American, but it is so good. The mango juice is out of this world. I feel like I've never gotten this much fresh fruit. And I had been warned before coming to not have the fresh fruit, and it just looked so good. So I've been living off of it, and I have found it to be really, 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 really wonderful. And so far, no problems, just happiness. Something that several guests mentioned to me that they really wish they did before they came on this cruise was they wish that they had learned a little bit more Egyptian history before they came. So whether you want to watch YouTube videos, a documentary, visit a museum, read a book, try to update yourself a little bit on your Egyptian history.
Along those same lines, I really wish that I had learned some basic phrases in Arabic. For example, please, hello, thank you, you're welcome, and good evening. This is a completely English language cruise. You don't have to speak a word of Arabic, but I just think it would have been cool to have known some of those basic phrases. And then if you're feeling really ambitious, try to learn some basic hieroglyphs. This will help you recognize the names of some of the gods, goddesses, and pharaohs in the temples.
What to pack? AmaWaterways will give you a very comprehensive packing list. A few notes. They say to bring polarized sunglasses. Definitely make sure that your sunglasses are polarized. They're going to make a huge difference. I'm not sure if it's sand or if it's dust or if it's a mirage off in the distance, but there are sometimes things off in the distance that you can see if you have your polarized sunglasses on, but you can't see if you have unpolarized sunglasses or no sunglasses on. So polarized sunglasses are going to make a world of difference for you. You definitely want to bring a hat. Definitely bring a hat. I have a hat that has a little string on it so I can tie it to my bag if I don't want to be wearing it while we're walking around, perhaps inside someplace, but I can easily put it on to keep the sun off my face. And then perhaps the most important thing is to bring your comfiest shoes. I was a little worried. Originally, I'm from Florida, so when I see sand, I immediately think I should bring flip-flops or some form of sandal. That is certainly a thing that is done here, and there are guests who have worn them and they seem totally fine. But sneakers, in my opinion, are the way to go. In terms of what you're going to be wearing for this experience, for the shore excursions, you're really going to want your lightest colored, lightest weight clothing, whatever you are going to be wearing on a very hot, very sunny day. I would also recommend relatively loose clothing. That way, the air can actually breathe around your body. Trust me, it will make the experience so much better. I would also recommend bringing one nice outfit. So for men, a jacket and a necktie. For ladies, a dress. The farewell dinner is going to be a little bit dressier, we're told. And for a few of the shore excursions, most of them are the optional shore excursions, there is a requirement for having a jacket on for the men or just being dressed a little bit more nicely. In Egypt, you're going to get sold to a lot. And what I mean by this is on all of your shore excursions, you're pretty much going to be heading to these major attractions. And the way that this works is on your way to the major attractions, there are markets set up. And these are not markets where the locals go to get their food and their clothes and their jewelry. These are very specifically markets set up for tourists. And we've been told that most of the items in the market are not authentically Egyptian, but they are made in China. My recommendation and the recommendations of most of the tour guides that I have spoken with and travel experts is to just ignore them and walk straight ahead. But you can also say no or la, which apparently means no, or la 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 la, which means no, 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 or la shakran, which means no, thank you.
When you travel with AmaWaterways, every expense is taken care of except souvenirs if you want to buy them. The best way to buy souvenirs from these vendors is to use cash. Now, the currency in Egypt is the Egyptian pound, but we found that the vendors actually preferred US dollars. This was a total surprise to us, and we wish that we had brought more US dollars with us on this trip.
Whenever I make a travel video, people always ask me how good is a certain location for people with mobility issues. Now, AmaWaterways itself really goes out of its way to help people get around and have their very best experience. That being said, this is definitely a more active experience. We're not scaling any mountains or anything, but the ancient Egyptians were not incredibly ADA compliant. So to get into, for example, some of the tombs at Valley of the Kings, you have to walk down a lot of steps and then walk back up a lot of steps. We have people on this cruise ranging in age from 30 years old to 80 years old, and they all seem to be having a really great time and able to keep up with the group.
Is Egypt safe? This is the #1 question I was asked about my travels, and I can honestly tell you that during this experience, I felt more than safe. I felt like I was living a luxurious fantasy life. I felt like an Egyptian queen, and that was pretty much the sentiment of everyone on our cruise, whether they were a solo female traveler or traveling with a huge group of friends or family. And we had a very diverse group of fellow travelers who all seemed so happy and amazed at Egypt's hospitality. In fact, I think Egypt raised the bar for hospitality, and I've been reassessing how I can be more like them with my own New York City tour guide work. AmaWaterways make sure you are safe from the moment you land to the moment you depart their experience. That way you can focus on having what will surely be the trip of a lifetime. I am making this video 2 weeks later, and my friends are still hearing us rave as we share all we learned and the wonders we experienced.
Come to your Nile River cruise with a totally open mind. Egypt is not Europe, and it would be doing Egypt a tremendous disservice to expect it to be Europe. Come here and embrace the new experiences and the different experiences, a new and different culture. We have loved tasting the food. We have found the hospitality to be so generous. Come here willing to learn, and you will be infinitely happy. David and I have been off of the ship for a few days now, which is really sad because we had so much fun on our AmaWaterways Nile River Cruise. So we're in Cairo at sunset, about to go home, and we're reflecting upon our experience, and we were talking about it, and we both agreed that the number one reason to take this AmaWaterways cruise is because they take care of all the logistics for you, and they really hold your hand every step of the way. We're talking airports. Airports can be really confusing, especially if you don't speak Arabic. We had an AmaWaterways representative come and meet us and get us through every leg of the airport. Now, David and I were traveling with some camera equipment that security personnel had some questions about on our way back from Luxor to Cairo. And we had our Egyptologist with us who was able to act as a translator between us and the security personnel. And we were seriously wondering, how on earth could we have done that without an AmaWaterways representative translating for us? Also, just thinking about the itinerary, some of the attractions were quite far from one another, and I'm not even sure that you can get to them without a boat, but they were able to put together such an efficient, elegant schedule that let us see the temples at what I perceive to be the best time of day. They were able to get us to these temples when the crowds were very, very minimum. In fact, sometimes we had the entire temple to ourselves, and we got gorgeous photographs and views of the temples at sunset. And this is stuff that we never could have known. We couldn't have gotten ourselves to all of these different attractions as efficiently and elegantly as AmaWaterways did. And then, of course, you have your Egyptologist who's able to share secrets of all of these locations that no matter how many Wikipedia articles you read, no matter how many books you read, I don't think you could know everything that the Egyptologist was able to uncover, and she can answer all of your questions. And I really think that this personal attention to detail is the number one reason to book with AmaWaterways. This entire AmaWaterways Nile River Cruise experience has been an absolute dream. They have created such a beautiful way of experiencing Egypt. From the welcome that you get when you walk onto the ship, the little tiny details in the room, the delicious cuisine that incorporates so many traditional Egyptian dishes. The shore excursions, they go out of their way to find the optimal times to visit these different temples so you get to avoid crowds and even take gorgeous photographs at sunset. Our knowledgeable and dedicated Egyptologist, every single moment is perfect. And we felt safe, secure, and taken care of along the way. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you click subscribe. It helps me bring you more videos like this. I hope that this has encouraged you to cross Egypt off your bucket list with AmaWaterways and inspired you to take a Nile River cruise. For more travel, follow me.